You're listening to Three Kitchens Podcast, hosted by home cooks Erin Walker and Heather Dyer.
We're on a mission to inspire you to try something new. Let's all learn to cook better and eat great food.
Will this be the ratatouille that Erin can say she likes? We'll see. Can I have success with a Julia Child recipe? Maybe that's the question I should be asking. Welcome to Three Kitchens Podcast. Here we are again. Okay, I'm Heather, and over here with me is my co-host, Erin. Hello. And today I thought, why not do another Julia Child recipe?
Okay.
Why not? And the reason I say why not is because I know you were going to go, you know how we all feel about Julia Child recipes? They're like
A little long-winded?
a little long-winded, something to kind of aspire to. Sometimes there's not good description, sometimes too much description, not good practical instruction.
Sometimes 55 steps before you start. And now you start cooking your ingredients. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's been 2 hours.
Yeah, but I've chosen something
Ooh.
that I think will be fairly simple and approachable and something we can all do. And that is a ratatouille. Are you familiar with ratatouille?
I'm not super familiar with
Oh.
it. So I think I tried making it once very long time ago.
I'm in the exact same boat.
Okay.
And when I made it, I followed a recipe and it made a beautiful sort of spiral. You know, you cut all the veggies
Yes.
in a similar shape, but it's this nice colorful thing. Julia's recipe is not quite like that.
Okay.
And no, Ratatouille is not a rat in an animated Disney film.
You may know
That-
him.
Yeah, that rat was named Ratatouille, I think, or maybe the whole show was named Ratatouille. I don't know, but I have always thought it was the rat that was named Ratatouille. I don't think it is.
I'm not familiar enough with that show to tell you.
It was very cute, but anyways, has nothing to do with the rats. Okay, all right, let me tell you. So according to my quick research, y'all know this is not a food research historically accurate podcast. Let me just say that right now. I'm a little gun shy about giving any history of recipes. Okay, so it is a traditional Provençal dish. I think that's how you say that. Originating in Nice, France. And it is basically a vegetable, it's kind of like a vegetable stew or casserole.
Okay.
So usually it's summer vegetables like eggplant, zucchini, peppers, tomatoes, and they're kind of putting it all together in a beautiful dish. And that traditionally, according to Julia Child's recipe, is the pieces are similar size, but they're cubed, and then it's mixed together. So it
Okay.
is not in a shape of beautiful. The presentation is not like what somebody must have taken it and gone, ooh, we can make this look pretty.
I have seen
right?
ratatouilles where they've like sliced everything thinly in the round and then they sit like dominoed over on each other, like back and
Mhm.
forth kind of in a dish. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the chevron or you get a spiral and it's really
Yeah.
beautiful. But that's not how Julia Child apparently made it. And I'm guessing it wasn't done that traditionally either. It was probably done more like this.
What did her
Right?
IG followers say?
She's so lucky she didn't have social media. All she
Oh,
had to do
man.
was pioneer cooking on television.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody.
And it was
could-
black and white. She could have been using anything in those dishes.
Oh my God, that's so true. If anybody listening is a fan of Julia Child, you can go back. We have another episode about Julia Child. We went
right.
to, or we watched a documentary about her.
Oh my gosh, that's
Remember?
right. Yeah.
And then we recorded on site at the Calgary International Film Festival.
That's
which is called
right.
SIFF.
Yep.
And they had a thing where they invited podcasters to come and use their studios and talk about something related to film or the festival. And that movie was showing at the festival. And so I don't remember it really well. I know we sort of talked about our thoughts on the show. And then at the end, I remember us all imitating Julia. Bon appetit!
Yes.
which was really
Because that's
fun.
what
And
you have to do
you do.
whenever you talk about Julia Child, you have to imitate her gusto for life in the kitchen.
Bon appetit. We even had the engineer who was there helping us, the
And you've
sound person do it, remember?
and you've also made did you follow no, you originally thought of following her coq au vin
Oh,
recipe, wasn't it? And then you
yeah.
were like, "Man, there are too many steps here," so you found a cheater one or like a less involved one.
That's a good question. I don't remember now where
I
ooh,
remember the coq au vin and Julia Child coming
okay,
together, but I don't know if they stayed together throughout the episode.
that's a good question. Well, I have found this recipe on juliachildsrecipes.com.
Okay.
I haven't looked into it yet to tell you who runs this website or like if they've simplified it. The instructions look relatively no, actually they do look quite long. I was gonna say it looks like somebody may have edited it, but now that I look again, maybe not. But the difference here with the way that, when we're talking about those sort of adapted recipes where it's like in shapes or it looks really pretty, is it's all put together that way and then baked.
Mhm.
This, you're cooking each vegetable separately and then bringing it together at the end.
Well, this is so Julia Child.
Right?
Or maybe it's French cooking. Maybe we shouldn't just be throwing her under
Mm.
the bus, but she is the one bringing us the French, so
She brought the French to, well, to the
we
United
shall
States
die
and
on that
the
hill.
rest of us. Yeah. So you do kind of warm it all together at the end, but
Okay.
everything has been cooked separately and I imagine seasoned as I haven't gone into detail.
But of course.
So it's a little bit different. So I just, I don't know why I decided I was going to do this. I've been thinking about doing something veggie
Mhm.
and originally I was thinking of doing the fancy one, but
Right. So did you like the ratatouille that you made years back?
I remember thinking it was fine. I wasn't like, "Oh, I love it. It's the best thing I've ever eaten."
It clearly didn't, like, stick around
No.
to make a
But
second appearance, and I remember not liking the one I made much
oh
either.
shit. I'm in trouble. We don't even like it.
But I also didn't really know how to work with eggplant at
Hey.
that point, and I remember the texture of the eggplant being
Oh.
off, and I have since cooked with eggplant. I've gotten over that whatever I messed up in my earlier days, but I was just wondering if it for us, it was a memorable, "Ooh, I don't like this vegetable" moment.
Well,
But I'm thinking that when you cook everything separately as per its specific needs,
yes. Yes.
then it will turn out better than whatever I haphazardly threw together when I was not great at cooking.
Yeah. We have had some successful eggplant dishes. I really liked
Oh,
the
indeed.
eggplant. Now I'm trying to think of.
Parmesan?
Do you remember the Turkish? Yes, I love
Oh,
the eggplant parmesan. I have made that since a couple of times. It's so
yes.
good.
So good.
Um, but there was one that I made to put on the Turkish pita.
The sabik.
No,
No? Oh,
no, not the
the
sabich.
pita. The
The
pita.
pita, Pide, pita,
Yeah,
and it had
yeah.
that spiced eggplant on top.
Yes,
I
and those, like,
don't
crunchy, fresh
God, we should have looked it up so we'd actually
mm,
know what to call these things. Oh, it was so good. That
it
was
was really good.
delicious.
Yeah.
Um, this here
Yes.
says that you're gonna cook the summer squash and eggplant. Okay, this is where I want your quick input on the instructions because I don't quite understand.
Yes, my track
Okay,
record is you should ask me more questions.
can you translate, Julia? Can we? Okay, take a skillet and put 4 tablespoons of olive oil into it. Got it. Saute the summer squash and eggplant one layer at a time for about 1 minute until oops, typo, until the vegetables are slightly brown. So one layer at a time, that just means single layer. Don't pile in more vegetables.
Don't crowd your pan
Yeah,
or
okay.
they'll release moisture and you'll end up with mush instead of brown.
Right. So they already have been sweated,
Yeah. So I would say,
which,
like, get your pan smoking hot which
Yeah, it
also
doesn't
means your
say how hot.
oil is gonna be splattery and scary because I recently burnt myself sautéing up some zucchini where, I put a pan on the stove, I put the olive oil in, and then I turned around and did something else. Then 5 minutes later, I was like, "Oh, I gotta put the squash in." It's like, "Oh, it's not brown yet, it's not totally smoking." But then when I dumped my pre-cut veggies in, there was a bit of a psh, and I was like, "Ah,
Oh,
burning hot
yeah.
oil." But then they brown really nice. So,
She
I
doesn't
mean,
mention how hot. This is one of the problems with some of Julia's recipes, right? You kind of have to translate it.
you just gotta know that it's gotta be a hot pan.
And they're only supposed to be like for 1 minute until they are slightly browned.
Yeah, that's a smoking hot pan with, like, a handful at a time. That would be my official opinion.
Hey, I'll take it because any help I can get, I probably need. Okay, so that's it. Stay
Cool.
tuned. Stay tuned to hear how it turns out and what we think. And will this be the ratatouille that Erin can say she likes?
Oh,
I
I'm
could
sure
no.
it'll be better than anything I've made in the past.
We'll see. Julia, we'll see. Can I have success with the Julia Child recipe? Maybe that's the question I should be asking. Time will tell.
Indeed.
Hey listener, have you visited our website? You'll find our entire catalog of episodes. Can you believe there are more than 170 of them, including the Speakeasy Cocktail series and almost all of our recipes?
It's easy to find. Just type in www.threekitchenspodcast.com or check the show notes for a link. Now, let's get back to the show.
Okay, dokie. Let's get into Julia Child's ratatouille recipe. I have to say this was simpler than many Julia Child recipes.
Oh,
So
good.
if I have freaked you out with her name alone, if you're familiar with like the joy of cooking and you're like, no way I'm making one of her recipes because it'll take me all day and I don't understand what I'm doing. No, actually this one was quite simple. So don't be scared.
Fabulous.
Okay. We're going to start out um, we're going to have the same amount of eggplant and zucchini or
Okay.
squash. You could do summer squash if you like. So the recipe says a pound of each, but I think as long as you have roughly the same amount, because you want it to be sort of an equal amount of these two
Okay.
ingredients, peel and cut the eggplant. So I had one fairly large. I know I said I was looking for the little guys,
Mm-hmm.
but at the store, those ones looked kind of wrinkly and funny and they didn't look
Oh,
fresh.
okay.
Whereas the bigger ones look nice and plump and firm. And so that's what I chose. Just,
Perfect.
I don't think it makes a difference. Okay, peel and cut. Make sure you this is going to be a lot of me reading it because, it's like that's what Julie is all about.
You
Okay.
bet.
Make sure you cut eggplant into lengthwise slices that are about 1 inch wide, 3 inch long, and 3/8 of an inch thick. Okay, so we're gonna peel this thing, which listen, if you've peeled an eggplant, it's kind of difficult actually.
I was gonna
I
say, that doesn't seem like a vegetable conducive to being peeled easily.
don't use a peeler. That's what I'll
Don't use a
tell you.
peeler. Okay.
I like cut the ends just so I could stand it up on a flat edge. And I used a sharp knife and did my best to like trim all the peel off the outside of
Okay.
it. Okay, so you're going to get your little strips basically, and then you're going to cut the squash or zucchini the same size as the eggplant. These are all going to be basically the same size and shape.
I'm imagining like a spear, like when you would cut up a cucumber to make like spears for dip.
Yeah,
I'm
it's kind of like
imagining
that.
that size.
Yeah.
Am I getting that right?
Like a little strip, like kind
Okay.
of like just a little stick. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to cut the squash the same. Then you're going to put all those vegetables into a bowl and toss with a teaspoon of salt and set them aside for 30 minutes. Now, as most of us know, you often do this with eggplant to sweat it and get some of the liquid out.
Mhm.
And I just did a quick little out of curiosity. I'm like, why do we salt vegetables before cooking them? So, for anyone else who is curious, here's a quick little summary of why you would salt your veggies 30 minutes before you want to cook them. So, Salt draws the water out of the plant cells, which reduces the moisture and helps them stay crisper and hold their shape and not get mushy
Ah.
into your recipe. That's especially important for things like stir fries when you want to keep it crisp,
Mhm.
or casserole or something where it's going to bake for a while and you don't want it just to turn to mush.
Or ratatouille.
Ratatouille, apparently. And the salt softens the cell walls slightly, and that's what helps them keep their shape when heat or bacteria is applied. So you do the same thing before you would ferment these types of vegetables,
Mm.
apparently. So there you go. We learned a little trick for water heavy vegetables, not just for ratatouille, not just for, do it whenever you cook these veggies, and it might help maintain your structure of your dish. Okay,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
When you salt these vegetables, how do you remove they've sat in the salt. You usually don't want all that salt to go into the dish you're cooking or the moisture that's come out of them. What do you do with them?
Well, let me tell you Julia's instructions and then we will
Okay.
dissect. Okay. It says set them aside for 30 minutes. Then it just says drain every slice and dry with a towel. I was like, drain every slice? What does that mean? So I just took it in like a small handful. I put it on a paper towel and I used more paper towel and I blotted every one as best I can to get the moisture off that has come out of them. Doesn't say anything about salt, whether it's going to still taste salty or not. I didn't feel like this dish was overly salty at the end.
No, I would
So
agree.
maybe that was enough. It didn't say to rinse, so I didn't rinse.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was wondering, like, are you
Mhm.
rinsing? But then that's introducing more liquid, which seems like not the right thing to do. Also, a lot of paper towel,
Well,
perhaps?
I mean, you could use dish towel, I'm sure. I didn't think it was a ton of paper towel.
Okay.
It's not like it's swimming in water after it's sweated. Like,
Okay.
honestly, they were wet. There's beaded water on it, but to say drain the slices, well,
Okay.
how? There's not that much water in the bowl.
Maybe our vegetables just aren't juicy enough. Maybe she
Maybe.
was working with better French veggies than we get here.
Yeah. Okay. Now take your skillet. I used my large cast iron skillet on my stovetop. 4 tablespoons of olive oil into it, and then saute the squash and the eggplant one layer at a time for about a minute until they're lightly browned. Remove them into a dish. So you're doing, you know, one layer at a time.
Yep.
And literally, like you had advised me, I put it on medium high heat, quite
Mm.
high heat, did it real quick, moved them through, and cross my fingers like that. Okay, the salting and the quick saute, hopefully that's good. All right. Then we're going to cook the peppers and onions in the same skillet. So we've
Mm.
got, according
Mm.
to the ingredients, we have 2 peppers sliced. Doesn't say what size of slices. So I guess figure it out.
Just figure it out.
Just do what I don't know, do it how you like. And then it says here about 1.5 cups of thinly sliced yellow onion. So I
Okay.
used 2 small yellow onions and I used 2 peppers. The ingredients list green pepper, but I don't like green pepper.
Mm.
Personally, I find it gives me heartburn, so I don't eat it. And I can't remember what I used, red and orange or just orange or yellow. I can't, one of those.
It was something in that category of
Yeah.
color, red,
Sorry.
orange, or yellow. Yep, but not green. And I also really liked that because, yeah, green is not my favorite. Yeah,
No, it doesn't it's not sweet enough. It hasn't, I think, ripened enough in my opinion.
I
Doesn't
know.
make me feel good. Yeah, so I don't
Yeah,
eat it. Okay, good.
I'm
I'm
with
glad
you.
you agree. Okay. So we're going to cook those for about 10 minutes until they are tender. So,
Okay.
onions, peppers, watch until they've softened, I guess. Then we're going to add in some garlic. We have
Mm.
here 2 cloves of mashed garlic and season the mixture with salt and pepper. So salt and pepper to taste, I guess. I went light on the salt because I was thinking like you about the veggies. I was like, how much salt is already in this dish?
Mhm.
So I gave it some pepper and moved along. Now we have tomatoes. A pound of red tomatoes. And it says in parentheses, make sure they are ripe, firm, seeded, peeled, and juiced with an exclamation mark. I was like,
Whoa, how many things am I doing to these tomatoes?
and how do I do this? I don't know. Okay, I can, yes, they're firm. Yes, they're ripe. I can seed them. I can even manage to get the peels off with a little sharp
Mhm.
little paring knife, which is also kind of a pain. I'm like, why do we need to peel them? But okay.
Can't you
But
just blanch them?
juiced? Juiced? Well, I didn't want to cook them if they weren't meant to be cooked, so I didn't want to. I didn't know if
Yeah.
blanching was okay or what. Here I'm trying to follow Julia's instruction. Okay, juiced. What? So basically, I got the peel off with my little
Okay.
knife, and then I cut them in half, and I scooped out the seedy membrane middle part and
Yeah.
tried to make sure there wasn't any like juice sitting in the middle of it.
Okay. Yeah. That
That
sounds
sounds
good
about
to
right.
me.
Okay. So we're gonna slice the what's left of the tomatoes, the pulp.
So whatever you've got left in there.
We're gonna slice them into 3/8 inch strips.
Wow, she really doesn't like the quarter or the half inch. She's going
She's
right in the middle. 3/8,
really
baby.
precise. I had a ruler and I was like, why, Julia? Like, can I just slice? In the end, I think I guesstimated, as they say.
I like that. Yeah. Mm.
Okay. Now, layer those tomatoes over the peppers and onions. Season again with salt and pepper. I don't know. I just say be careful with how much you're putting in there.
Mhm.
Cover the skillet and let the vegetables cook for about 5 minutes on low heat until the tomatoes start letting out some juice. Okay. Then it says raise the heat, boil the vegetables in the
Okay.
tomato juice until the juice evaporates. So you're gonna cook them on low until they get juicy. Then you're gonna
Okay.
boil it till the juice is gone. Okay.
After
Now,
you've already juiced your tomatoes, right?
yeah,
Correct?
apparently you've
Okay.
juiced them.
I mean, I didn't want to bring that up, but then I had to.
No, I'm glad you did because at the time I was like really watching. I'm like, okay, is there going to be any juice? Because I tried to make sure there was like not much juice in here. Oh, Julia, you're driving me nuts. Okay. Then it says we're going to move everything into a casserole dish, but you're still finishing it on the cooktop. So I was like, well, that seems silly to dirty
Oh,
another dish. So I
yeah.
just did it right in my skillet. I just,
Executive decision well made.
yeah. So you're going to start out with about a third of the tomato mixture. So I took out 2/3 roughly of what was in there into a
Okay.
separate dish, spread my tomatoes and peppers and onions on the bottom. And we're going to sprinkle some minced parsley over it,
Okay.
add eggplant and squash over that, about half of it, then tomatoes and onions,
Okay.
then
Gotcha.
squash and eggplant, and then you're supposed to finish off with the rest of the tomatoes and onions. I didn't have much left at this point. I was kind of like, I didn't really measure that out very well, but I think it's okay.
Good enough.
And then you're going to top it off with a bit more parsley, cover it, and on low heat, let it simmer for about 10 minutes. Then after
Okay.
10 minutes, you're going to raise the heat a little bit and cook everything for 15 minutes uncovered
Right.
until all the juices have evaporated. At this point, there's not much juice to evaporate, but okay. And try not to burn the bottom of it because really it's not very juicy. So I was like checking a little bit with my
Yes.
spatula and like,
Yeah, I can see that.
and that's it. Take it out and serve. So really simple. It's not much in there. There's vegetables, salt and pepper, garlic, and parsley. Really not much going
Great
on.
flavor, though. Like everything tasted so good and it wasn't oversalted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I liked it.
I did too. I don't know if I would have it as a main dish. I think it would just be a side.
In my house, we ate it as a side with salmon.
Oh, that's a great idea. I was going to say some sort of grilled meat is what I'm thinking. Okay.
Yeah. We actually did the baked salmon from the diabetes cookbook.
Oh,
The
yeah.
capers and mustard and lemon juice. Yeah, very
Yes.
tasty.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think ratatouille as a veggie side could go with kind of any protein.
Anything.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, I thought it was really tasty. I am a big fan of zucchini. I
Me
also
too.
really loved the eggplant in this. I thought it was delicious. It went well with everything. Whatever I did the first time I made ratatouille many, many years ago was wrong. So I thought this was fantastic. And yeah, I it's this thing with being very intentional with everything that you cook individually.
Hmm. I think
That is what I'm
that is the
learning
trick here.
with the French cooking is like
Hmm.
everything might live together at the end, but oh boy, are they handled separately and individually along the way.
Yeah. And it might feel like I can see why people adapted it and to make it into let's just cut everything the same shape, put it in a pan and bake it in the oven and then voila. Like that's how I
Yeah,
had made it before too. And it was
absolutely.
fine, but it wasn't really good. And nobody really liked the eggplant. We're all like picking the eggplant out because it didn't probably cook properly. Like,
Yeah.
and tomatoes, we all know tomatoes can be fussy. You don't cook the tomato the same amount of times you cook an eggplant or a
Yeah.
zucchini. Like it's just a different thing altogether. And so I think that is the key is to cook it. Even though when you read it out, it's like, well, this seems like a pain in the ass. There's a reason. There's a reason
Yeah.
for this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think I love that you went and did that with this dish because, especially with vegetables that all finish differently and cook differently and have different needs to get their best flavors, this does that all, but then fools you into thinking it's easy by having it in one little dish that it's all like perfectly made together. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I would agree that it's all about keeping them separate. And in fact, I just made like a very simple braised chicken dish. And I was going to put the vegetables in with my chicken. And I was going to make potatoes with it too. And I was like, you know what? My potatoes are going to need something different. And I had carrots and radishes and the chicken together. And I made 2 cast iron pans and put them in the oven and cooked them separately. Because I was like, you know what? These need different things. And after our talk about the ratatouille, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to apply that here. And it worked out fantastically. And I was like, this wouldn't have been as good if I hadn't have had those 2 dishes doing their own thing.
Mhm. And I think this is why we often get excited about like a sheet pan dinner or a one pan, one pot dinner because it seems, oh, so simple, fewer dishes, everything cooks together. And then in the end, you're not really all that excited about it. It's like, well, it's fine.
Yeah.
But they don't, some of those things shouldn't have been cooked in there with it,
Hmm.
you know? Yeah. You totally, it makes sense. And I
Yeah.
actually, I'm kind of on board now with the salting the things 30 minutes
Mm.
ahead, even though, that kind of is hard for me because I'm usually winging it and running late against the clock. But I see the value in it. And it wasn't overly crazy salty like I was worried it was going to be. So I think that was a good tip.
And it held up. Like there were
Mhm.
full pieces of zucchini, even after I heated it up, that I was like, this is like perfectly cooked, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, this may have been a zucchini. Sometimes when you bake them and they get mixed in with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was
They get
really
too
good.
soft.
Yeah,
And I think it was worth peeling that eggplant too. Because sometimes the
true.
peel on the eggplant is that's the part you got to kind of bite through, and I don't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Whereas without
It
the
almost gets
peel,
leathery, right?
yeah, without the peel, it just seemed like just more, it's nicer to eat. I don't know,
Just
texture
more
wise.
agreeable.
Yes. What was that from?
I think we talked about fiddleheads being very agreeable.
Just so agreeable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sometimes even though Julia's recipes look intimidating and like a lot of weird steps, and they don't always make sense because it's written in a way that
Yeah.
is not maybe the way we ourselves would try to tell someone how to cook something. If you go through it and honestly do the step by step like she writes it, usually in the end you can figure it out and you can get a good dish out of it. I
Mhm.
mean, I haven't tried a ton of her stuff, but for the ones I have made, I
Yeah.
think it's good.
All that fussy French stuff is for a reason. It just depends on whether that's important to you or not.
It's worth trying. I think I'll say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like this. I'd like to make this for sure. as a side.
Yeah. And if you would like to make it too, go to threekitchenspodcast.com and go to the recipe page, and there it will be for you. Ta-da!
That was beautiful.
And now for the fine print. For links to recipes and many other random things we talked about in this episode, check out the show notes or our website, www.threekitchenspodcast.com. Join us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok to see what we're cooking up next. And if you love the show, tell a friend. Word of mouth is the #1 way people learn about new podcasts. Thanks for listening.
Actual recording is better quality. I'm like, well, good, because I look a little fuzzy. That's a good thing.